Hey, sorry, things got crazy and I was gonna call, but I figured I would just send a voice memo and you can call me back later if you want. I'm like, oh my fucking god, I have negative $500 in my fucking account, and the lady that was driving the fucking bus when I was walking to the dollar store didn't even stop for me. Yeah, no, I know. This shit's funny. I mean, like, my life is a comedy of errors. At the very best, my life is a comedy of errors. I was also thinking too about how, like, with celebrities like Chappell Roan being so popular and her kind of having opinions and like being weird about being interviewed or being a celebrity, and then like Doechii recently coming under stupid heat, a podcast like this could really revolutionize the way we do celebrity interviews, because like imagine a celebrity doing an interview and being able to do it from their couch or being able to do it from their hotel room, and they don't have to get all glammed up, they don't have to take pictures, they don't have to worry about how they look. I don't know. I think we might be onto something. I'm also trying to brainstorm enemies because my friend Chloe, who's like my trust fund friend and who is a really big TikToker, she came to visit me on the bus in the middle of the desert, and like we didn't get into a huge fight, but like I think she knows that I kind of wrote her off because I'm just realizing our lifestyles are way too different. And our values don't align. So I was thinking about using like my confrontation of her and like putting it on the podcast.
Hello. It is Friday, March 14th, and because we're old, I'm assuming that you're home right now teaching yourself a language on Duolingo. You look smart at these things. I have a question for you to spice up your night. The phone rings, and it's a famous movie studio. And they're like, Alexis, we want you to remake blank. What would be like the best movie they could give you, and what movie would they give you where you'd be like, oh my god, I don't want to do this. I'm going to because I need the money, but I'd rather not.
I ain't never learned the language on Duolingo in my life. They would call me and ask me to remake Rosemary's Baby, and I would absolutely do it. But if they ever called me and told me to remake, let me think. I have multiple answers. I feel like I could never remake The Truman Show. I saw that as a teen, and it's one of the only movies that I walked out of the theater because I think it just messed with my brain too much, and I didn't like it as a teen. But there's another answer. Hold on. I would also love to do my own remake of Eve's Bayou, but I would never do a remake of like a super classic. Like I would never do a remake of like Jaws, or I would never do a remake of like Silence of the Lambs. Like there are just certain things I wouldn't touch, certain things that I can't put my spin on, or that are so like ingrained in our consciousness that like what else do I have to say about it, you know? Okay, same question for you.
Okay, so I believe in my bones that I could fix Ghostbusters. I thought the last movie was like somewhat close to what it should be. I hated the one before it where it was like them in like the countryside. Like I was like, what is this? Ghostbusters is New York City. Like, what are you doing? I hate that they, like, I think we've talked about this, but like Hollywood doesn't know the difference between like nostalgic movies that were for kids and movies that we watched as kids, but that like we really shouldn't have. So like, because people from our generation think of Ghostbusters as a movie we loved when we were kids, Hollywood interpreted that as like, oh, so it's a kids movie. And it's like, no, it's not a kids movie. The same way that like Mrs. Doubtfire is not a kids movie. Like, our parents let us watch them because there were like silly elements to them, but like they're not children's movies. So like my dream would be to let them like have them let me remake Ghostbusters and like make it like really really like for adults. I also think like and it depends too, like because I didn't specify this, but like reboot, sequel, remake, like I feel like if I did like I would love the Goonies, but I would want to do a sequel. Like I don't want to redo the Goonies because it was perfect, but I would love to like continue it. I feel like as a remake, I would do probably My Best Friend's Wedding because I love that movie, but it has not aged well. There are things that definitely should be addressed. And then obviously I agree with you, like certain movies, like don't remake them. But again, if they called and they were like, you have to remake blank, and I'm like, okay, I have to because like I don't have a choice. It's like, yeah, like what one could I like at least like begrudgingly go along with, even though I'd be like, oh my god, what the hell? And I think it would probably be like Titanic, which seems crazy because it's like, well, why would they ever ask you to do that? But like, they're remaking Harry Potter as a TV show. Like, they're touching IP that we thought was like untouchable, and I'm like, I bet they would love to. Like, Titanic is still such a cash cow. I'm like, I bet they would love to go back and like do something with Titanic. And at this point, it's old enough. Like, it's it's getting up there. It's going to be 30 years old. So it's like, wow, it really wouldn't be that crazy to think that like have them like hire somebody to like do a spin on it. And I would do it, but I would be so upset, if only because I actually don't really even care about the Titanic that much. And like to have to do that, like I can't even imagine.
And see, I love that you said Eve's Bayou. Eve's Bayou might be one of the few examples where I sort of go, you could do another movie, or you could actually make a really great, like, limited series out of Eve's Bayou. Like, I think there's enough there to play with and, like elaborate on. I feel like you could actually, like, stretch that story out and not have it lose any of what made it so great.
Not the Harry Potter TV show, that I didn't know. But did you know that Goonies is getting a sequel? Did you know that? My Best Friend's Wedding is such a good throwback. And yeah, I feel like the 90s is filled with those movies. Like, movies we watched as kids that we consider our childhood movies, but that were not intended for children. 80s too, a little bit. Like, should I have been watching 16 Candles as a prepubescent? I don't know.
It is after midnight on a Friday night, so of course I'm watching clips of celebrities on Twitter being stupid and sending them to you, and then like getting mad that I'm even like getting mad. But no, so that Anthony Mackie clip where he's like, I teach my boys to be young men because we have been watching the death of the American male over the past 20 years. Have we, sir? Who who is currently running the entire government? Seems like the American male has been doing pretty good. It's like, just tell me you don't like gay people, dude. Just say you don't like his whole thing of like, I teach my boys to be young men, and you can feel about that however you want to feel about that. I'm like, so what I'm taking from this is that if your son came to you tomorrow and was like, I'm gay, you would have a huge problem. Also, I need to know what kind of woman marries a guy who says, when I go out of town, it's my 15-year-old son's job to lock all the doors and lock all the windows and set the alarm and then text me and tell me everything's good because he's the man of the house. If I'm your wife, I'm going to be like, sweetie, I can lock doors and turn on alarms. I'm not an idiot. Please don't put that on our 15-year-old son.
Okay. Oh, goodness, my voice. Good morning, it's Saturday, March 15th, 9:27 a.m. in New Orleans, Louisiana, as I'm sitting on my air mattress that I literally have to blow up every few hours because it has holes in it. And I'm still broke and don't have a real bed. But my coffee is delicious. Listen to me when I tell you this. Black men in America are confused. They've been confused. And at this point, I'm starting to think that they always gonna be confused. Okay? Anthony Mackie, what you mean to say, what he means to say, and I agree with this, is that America, Western civilization in general, has destroyed the masculinity of the black man. And that dates to redlining, to not letting black people have a bank account. That dates to, you want to get real deep, back to slavery and slave owners raping women and making mixed babies. Speaking as a mixed baby myself, that is what he means. White masculinity in America is alive and well and thriving, to your point. And what black men need to realize is society is never going to treat them like white men. And, oh my God, I could write a friggin' dissertation on this. Like, masculinity is fine. Black masculinity has been suffering for centuries, and now, because black men are all confused, especially in America, and they want to empower themselves, they're going down the wrong path, like this man, Anthony Mackie. And yeah, another thing, the black community needs to come to terms with homosexuality, queerness in general. Like, oh my God. I think I'm actually getting a headache right now. It's not even 9:30, it's 9:29 now, and I'm actually getting a headache.
So my friend from Spotify listened to the first episode, and one of the suggestions that he had that I was kind of thinking about, and so it was like weird that he mentioned this, like, so I was like taking a shower the other day, and I had an idea for a voice note to send you. And I was like, okay, let me like finish up in the shower and then like send her the voice note. But in normal times, I would just send you the voice note, and I would be like, hey, I'm in the shower, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, you know, as long as you two are going to do this, like, he's like, I like the idea of like, sometimes you're in the car, sometimes you're walking down the street, sometimes your friend is like being quiet somewhere. Like, he's like, the thing about this is that you want it to feel authentic. And he's like, authentically speaking, it wouldn't make sense that you're always like, if you're always rushing to like find a really nice quiet place where like the sound quality is going to be perfect. He's like, we're always going to want to hear what y'all are saying. So like, don't do it if it's like super loud. But he's like, a little background noise or like doing it while you're doing other things and like opening doors or something. He's like, that to me actually feels like these are actual voice notes and this is not like a gimmick. Hello, it is Sunday, March 16th. Took me a second. 8:46 p.m. And I am in Connecticut heading back to Rhode Island. Was just visiting New York. And one of the things that I always think about when I'm in New York and that like really like sticks with me when people are like, why don't you just move to New York? Is that very frequently I will like visit a friend's apartment for the first time. They'll be like, oh, hey, like, come stop by my place before we go get a drink or see a show or whatever. And, like, this weekend was the fourth or fifth time where, like, the friend that I was visiting, I know, makes an extremely good living. Like, this particular person is not just a doctor, but a surgeon, like an actual surgeon. And they live in Midtown. So, like, okay, Midtown is expensive, but, like, if you took the building that they lived in, like, the way that it's decorated, the cleanliness of it, like, and, like, their apartment in the building, and, like, the hallways and the elevators, and, like, you took all of that, and you plopped it in any other place in America that is not a major city, you'd be like, oh, well, this is probably housing for people who do not make a lot of money. Like that's what it was giving. And I'm just like, oh my God, the fact that like you make what you make and like this is how you live and you're walking around being like, yeah, no, I mean like I'm one of the lucky ones. Like, no, can't do it. Can't live in that city. Sorry, can't do it.
7:51 p.m. in New Orleans, Sunday, March 16th. That is hilarious. And obviously I can identify. As I sit in my friggin' huge ass apartment in New Orleans. Having lived in shoeboxes in both New York and LA, I get it. The best thing to do in New York, honestly, is to like live in a part of Brooklyn like Windsor Terrace or Park Slope or Carroll Gardens where you can have an outdoor space, but you need to be making surgeon money. I can't think of anywhere in Manhattan that gives you enough space besides maybe some places on the Upper West Side. Um, yeah. I don't know how I did it for so long, to be honest. Ugh. I do miss it though. I miss it so much, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, sorry I missed you. It's me. It's Friday at 6 p.m. Just call me back. All right, bye.